So today we're gonna be tackling rotors and brake pads for the front of the X1, which I got right here. Front brake pads, and then, oh, this thing's heavy. Front rotor. Now, whew. So I already went ahead and did one side, so I more or less knew what to do when I recorded it for the video, and then put it all back together. I'm also gonna take the extra step like I did on the other side and go ahead and clean inside of the wheel well, get all this grime out of here, clean up the coilovers and all the lines and everything that's all connected to right down here. So I already did everything on the other side. I'm gonna show you real quick what it looks like finished and before. So 1 second. So that's the new rotor. I also went ahead to the initial extra step to clean inside of the wheel itself. That's the rotor, nice and clean. Brembo brake pads. I went ahead and cleaned the calipers too, degreased everything, all the inside. I have pictures that I will post so you guys can see it. It's a little bit dark right now, so you can't actually see inside the wheel well, but I will show you guys my process on doing this right now. Okay, so first thing that I did was go ahead and remove this clip, which is this whole piece right here, and you don't mind if you scratch it. I'm actually gonna brush it off with a metal bristle to get rid of all that rust off of there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off this clip. You just kind of pop it off with any flathead screwdriver. Okay, so just hold one side, hold the middle piece in, pop off one side, okay, and just like that. So this whole piece comes right off, and this is gonna get ready to be not too polished, but just kind of cleaned up. And I actually painted the other one. What this clip actually does is it holds the front side of the caliper all together. Once we got that done, we're gonna go ahead and try to turn this rotor around. So this right here is actually the brake pad wear sensor. All right, so here's the brand new brake pad wear sensor. There is your item number if you want to purchase the exact same one. So I'll purchase all my stuff from OEM Beamer parts, and I have the link to that in the description box below for you guys. So this is the brand new sensor. All right, so back here, there's a few clips that you have to pop off for a couple of lines. So the actual brake line itself, which is this one right here. There we go. So this line right here is attached to the brake pad sensor clip. So we just pop that off, boom. And this is it right here. This clip, this just pops right off. Get that out of there. And just like that, you have the brake line. Well, you have the wear pad sensor itself right there. So this one, you just pop it off just like that with your hand. All you have to do with this one is just pop it off too. Just pop it up. There you go. Okay, so you follow that line right there, and it's the second one on the right, and that attaches to that box which is right there. And I'm going to show you guys how to remove that real quick too. So you follow this line back up to this box right here. You remove that from that bracket too. Okay, make sure that's nice and loose. And you have a couple clips on this box that are actually on the bottom. You just push up on it, and that's gonna open up this box. And in the box, you have these two connectors right there, and it's gonna be the top one, which is this one. That's the white one. Okay, so not the blue one. With the blue one alone, white one. So let's go ahead and remove that real quick. Okay, so in order to remove it, you have to push in this clip piece right here, and it will just pop right off. So let me see if I can get that. All right, slides right off, pops right out, and that's it. This is the one that you're removing. Once you have the whole line removed, you can just simply run it through the back side, and this should just pop off, just like that. All right, so the next thing you want to do is actually remove the brake line from the bracket right here, and that's as easy as just popping off this clip right here. You pop it up, and then this removes and comes right up. Okay, so you just pop it off. All right, there you go. And the way this goes in back in is that if you're facing like this with a little bump in the back, it goes like that, facing inwards. Okay, you have to kind of, there you go, pop it up a little bit to kind of get it out of there a little bit. Okay, there you go. And the brake line is loose, and now we can actually go ahead and remove the caliper itself. So right here, you have a cap here, and then you have a cap up here, I believe, that I'm touching with my finger. Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, so you will remove this cap right here with a flathead. You can just pop that off. Okay, and inside you have a I believe it's an Allen key, and it's a 7. You pretty much put the key in there. You will push down on it. Okay, there you go. So you will just loosen it up until the piston comes out, and then do the same thing for the top. Okay. All right, so this is one of the pistons right here. As you can see, this is where the key goes in there, in that end, an Allen key, number 7. That's it. So both the top and the bottom, you can remove it. So I want to show you guys real quick, one thing that I had to do on the side. I do have a piston compressor for the caliper itself, but it doesn't fit the BMW. The hole is way too small, so I couldn't use it. So what I did is just with a flathead screwdriver, in order to compress that piston, which is right here, and do not hit the rubber boot right there, do not hit that. You will get a 10mm wrench, and what you're gonna do is release the pressure on this valve right here. That way you can actually press in that piston. Okay, so just one turn is good, and you're gonna see some brake fluid come out of there. So you put a flathead screwdriver between the brake pad and then the rotor, and just press it in, and you'll see fluid coming out of there. Right here, you see it shoot out just then. So just press in that piston all the way in, so you don't have to worry about it later. Once that is done, close that valve back up, the little nipple, you know, pull the X's, and I'm gonna detail this whole inside here in a bit, so I'm just kind of getting the steps ready. The caliper, there you go. Okay, so this is the front brake pad. We just removed that. Now I'm gonna show you guys how to remove this part of the caliper, which is held by 2 bolts on the back side right here. There's a bolt right here and a bolt right here, and that's what's gonna hold this the other piece of the caliper into place. So you just remove those 2. So I actually used a 5/8 socket that works on removing spark plugs from the car. So if you have one of those, that works. If not, I believe it's a 16, which I don't have. I have a 15 and a 17, but BMW tends to make shit so complicated. So the 5/8 will work if you have one. Go ahead and remove those bolts, and we'll go on to the next step. This one is acting up, it's not working, so I'm gonna use the ratchet. That worked. First one out. Again, guys, I don't have all the right tools, all the perfect tools to work on these cars, so I'm building up my tool set little by little as I go along. For the rest, I use what I can, what I do have. There you go. So before we remove the rotor, you need an Allen key to remove this screw right here that kind of just holds the rotor in place. It's going to be a 6. So the number 6 Allen key, that will work. So we just remove that. There you go. That shouldn't be too tight in there, so. There you go. So rotor comes off just like that. Now it exposes everything. So I'm gonna be using Simple Green. It's actually from a bike. It's just a degreaser. I'm gonna be using this, some brake cleaner, any brake cleaner you have, and then a little bit of PP Blast to just kind of help get some of that stuff out of there. So. And I actually don't worry too much about getting this so perfectly clean, because the wheel itself is gonna cover this whole piece, and you won't even see any of this because you have the wheel cap on there. So all you're really gonna see is the rotor itself, but I just wanted to kind of have it just clean underneath it just in case. So I'm not too worried about getting all this rust out of it, just enough rust so that it's somewhat clean. So all right, so this looks 1,000 times better. I mean, this is, you know, when it's wet, but now it's drying up, so it's not dry up like that, but all this has been cleaned, the whole wheel well. There you go. All right, this piece is good to go. The caliper is good to go. Well, the inside is good. So you guys can't really tell right now, but I'll show you guys later on. So I guess we'll go ahead and do the rotor first. Oh, all right, so get your new rotor. Once everything is clean. Okay. Okay, all right, that's it. Rotor's on. So that little guide pin actually helps out to keep the rotor in place once you put everything back. So rotor's on. Now to move on to the caliper. the first piece of the caliper back on. All right, once that is hand tightened, go ahead and tighten everything back, tighten that back down. I don't have a torque wrench, or else I would torque it down, but tighten it up, not overly tight. Just make sure it's nice and tight. So that first piece is on. Okay, nothing's rubbing, that's good. So we'll go ahead and put the front brake pad, which is this one right here. Okay, and that's gonna go as such right there. So the red part, if you have Brembos or any other brake pad really, will come out. So of course you will have the brake pad itself facing inwards, just like that, and you'll have these slits to help guide you in. There you go. The rear piece will actually not attach to this caliper piece, but the big piston itself, because these clips have to go inside. So if you're having issues putting the caliper with the brake pad back in, what happened to me is I didn't compress the piston enough. So just make sure the piston's compressed all the way in. That was my issue, that was my bad. So go ahead, put it back in, just like that. Okay, so once this is in, we can go ahead and run now the line for the brake pad wear sensor. So once you've run the new sensor, make sure that you do reuse this white clip right here. When they provided this new sensor, they did not provide the clip itself, so it is very brittle, and I did crack one of the clip sides, but one of them is holding, and then 3 out of 4 are basically good to go, so I can reuse this clip. But just make sure if you do break this, you can always just order a new one, and this just clips into the brake line hose. So I wanted to show you guys on the actual brake pad, there's a little groove. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. You see the little groove right there? It's like a little indentation. That's where the actual sensor piece itself is gonna go into. Now you have two sides. One has a little notch on it right there, the top side, and one is flat. So the notch side will go to the left side, and then the flat side to the right. And that should just kind of push right in there. Okay, just like that. And that's your sensor, good to go. All right, so once you have the sensor in, all right, so once you have everything ran, go ahead and put the 2 pistons on the back, and then you put the clip on the front side, and you should be good to go. So let me go ahead and do that real quick, and I'll show you guys what it looks like finished. And I probably look like a hot mess right now. So real quick, before I do forget though, these pistons, you have to go ahead and re-lube them. There's 2 different sizes, so I'll show you which one goes to which. Big long piston on the bottom hole, and short little piston on the top hole. All right, so once that is done, you have the sensor on, all the lines have been ran back. You have the brake line hooked up and clicked up back. You can now go ahead and put on the clip that's gonna hold it in the front. So this is what it's gonna look like. So the way this goes is this little groove notch piece right here goes in this little groove, not this round one. And it goes something just like this. So what I did is I will put on one clip side, tighten this right here, and then put on, kind of twist it and put the other one in, and then that should hold it in, clip it into place. So let me go ahead and clean this real quick and get it painted. All right, she's finally finished, done and ready. So let me see. Everything's back together, so I didn't have to show you guys how to put it all back together. Like I said, the same way you take it off, the same way you put it back on. So I probably look like a mess right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it for a spin, make sure that everything works, make sure that the brake pads are good. You know, I'm getting some good brake pedal feel, that it's not too loose or whatnot. So, and if I fix anything, I'll let you guys know. But she's done. This took me roughly, all in all, just I don't know, a couple hours, maybe 2-3 hours in total. But this really took all day because I've been messing with this, and I had to go get some tools I didn't show. I got my 2 little girls that I have to, you know, also take care of, the dog, all this going back and forth. So it took almost all day, but in total, I'd say it took about 2 or 3 hours, just because, you know, getting tools and not having the right tools and whatnot. So that's it, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and take it for a spin. Hopefully that video showed you just enough of what you guys had to do to get those rotors replaced and the brake pads. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rear. Once I do the rears, now today I'm gonna do a video for that one too, and I will post it up for you guys. The control arms or the traction arms for the front, I was supposed to do that video today, but I was having an issue with getting the part that's connected to the ball joint off. You need this, it's like a pincer that separates the two. And I feel like that's gonna mess up the ball joint. So I don't know if I'm gonna do that myself or just pay to get that done. I'm not sure yet. So I do have the arms, but we'll see, guys. So that's it. I'm gonna end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm beat. I'm hungry. So I'm gonna take a shower. Catch you guys in the next one. Later.